Hey everyone, Bay Area Mindfulness here. My name is Florence, and in today's video, we're going to talk about habit 3 of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Quick recap, this is one video that I've made out of a series of videos on my confidence playlist. The playlist is based off of a book that I've read called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This video is going to be about habit 3, but let me just recap you on habit 1 and habit 2 so that if you're just watching this video, you can catch right up. Alright, so habit 1 is to be proactive, which means to focus on your circle of influence rather than your circle of concern. I'll put the quick little graphic here. Basically, do what you can do, only worry about the things that you can control. And all that other stuff that's in your circle of concern, you'll eventually have more control over those things if you focus on the things that you can do first. Habit 2 says to begin with the end in mind. So in a nutshell, basically what you want to do is think about the type of person that you would ultimately like to be, think about all of your goals and your dreams that you would like to achieve, and then work backwards from there. What do you need to do to be that type of person? What kind of principles and values do you need to have in order to reach those goals? So once you have those things solidified, live up to those principles every single day of your life, and the theory is that if you do that, you'll eventually get to those achievements as you've dreamed them to be. So now that we are all caught up, let's move on to habit 3. Habit 3 is all about prioritizing and time management. So habit 3 tells us to put first things first. Have you ever felt like you had so many things to do and you just didn't know where to start, and you get so overwhelmed that you don't start at all? I actually kind of experienced that today. But I thought back to 7 habits of highly effective people, and what I ended up doing was organizing those tasks in such a way that prioritized the most important things that I needed to do so that I could ultimately achieve my short-term and long-term goals. So sounds a little advanced, but it's really not. The author, Stephen Covey, actually came up with a really neat matrix, personal time management matrix that all of us can use. Now, you don't have to literally, start your day with this matrix and write everything in. You can if you want to, but it's really a way of thinking about your life and the things that you need to do in order to accomplish your goal. So maybe at first you use this matrix very literally, but then eventually you will start to think in the way that this matrix is set up. All right, so let's take a look at this time management matrix. As you can see there on the side, there is important and not important, and then when you go across the top, there is urgent and not urgent. So quadrant 1 is urgent and important. So that would be like paying your rent, right? You get the notice, the email that your rent is due and you're late by 1 day. That is absolutely important and it's urgent. You need to pay that right away. Any type of bill that you're, approaching the deadline on or you're past due, that's urgent and important. Or maybe there's something that you needed to submit. If you're a student, you have a homework assignment that needs to be submitted today by 3 o'clock and you haven't worked on it yet. So that would fall into quadrant 1. Those are things that you absolutely have to do, and there's like an urgency to it. Quadrant 2 is important but not urgent. So this is, according to Stephen Covey, the quadrant that you want to be in most of the time. So activities that fall in this quadrant would be like reading. So for example, reading this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it's not urgent. Nothing's going to happen. There's no deadline to read this. It's really for your own personal development. However, even though it's not urgent, you will reap a lot of benefits from reading the book. So it's adding to you becoming a better person, becoming more effective. The next quadrant is the 3rd quadrant. It's urgent and not important. So those are like interruptions. Say you get like, Instagram notification or Facebook notification, and the way that those things are set up, it's supposed to, make you want to check them right away. So you may be on your phone constantly checking messages that don't really matter to you in that moment, but you just do it because you're kind of trained to. Phone calls as well, unimportant phone calls, you're just gonna pick it up because it's ringing. Like if a phone rang right now, I'd probably pick it up and it would interrupt this video. So stuff like that. And then finally you have quadrant 4, which is not important and not urgent. So that's just really silly stuff, like probably things that are, I don't know, like playing video games, right? It's not urgent, it's not important, but it's something that you like to do. So leisure activities, I think those things have a place. You don't want to necessarily never do anything that's purely just for fun. However, you don't want to spend a ton of time there. So overall, Stephen Covey says that you want to be in quadrant 2 most of the time. Quadrant 2 is more of a preventative quadrant. If you stay in quadrant 2 most of the time, you should really decrease the number of urgent activities you have in quadrant 1. And then quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, they're gonna happen, obviously it's life, but you really wanna minimize how much time you're spending in those quadrants. The next lesson that he teaches in this chapter about putting first things first is to organize your task around the roles that you play, so that you are being effective in different areas of your life. It's all about balance. So I'll give you an example. So for me, the different roles that I have, and this changes every so often, but today I just jotted down, I have several roles. So right now I am a job seeker because I got laid off from my role during COVID. I have another video on that, but anyways, so I'm a job seeker, so it's really important for me to do things like submit my resume and to brush up on my interview skills and to research the companies that I'm interviewing with. So job seeker. Then I have the fact that I am a blossoming YouTuber. So activities that I need to do for that is filming videos. I need to, brainstorm what types of videos that I want to do. And another activity that falls under this role would be like watching editing videos. So it's not like super fun to watch videos on how to edit, but it's important because I want to make my videos engaging and interesting. And then the next role that I have is of daughter. So I make sure that I call my parents and make sure that they're doing, daughter and friend. So I call my parents, make sure they're doing okay. I call my friends, or I text my friends to see what they're up to, make sure, everything's all right on that front. And then finally, there's personal self-development. So activities that fall under that role would be like reading, like this book. I have a lot of different little self-help, self-development books that I like to read, so that would be an activity that falls under that. Also, there's like meditation that I like to do, so that's more of like a mental stimulation for me, a spiritual stimulation, so to speak. And let's see, what else? Working out, of course, so physical stimulation, staying healthy, eating well, cooking, that kind of stuff. So the way that this helps you, if you think about your life in roles, you don't get too bogged down by one. So if I only focused on, say, being a YouTuber, and I did everything to be the most effective YouTuber possible, then I would ignore the fact that I need to find a full-time job again, or that, my friends might need me. I might let a lot of important relationships go to the wayside, or maybe I won't work out that much because I'm over-prioritizing being a YouTuber. So nobody wants to be one-dimensional. You want to be, succeeding and moving towards goals in different parts of your life. So that's why it's important to think of your life in roles. So what do you do with this information? I guess we can move on to the assignment portion of the video. So what I would do is, number one, draw up this quadrant. Actually write it down in your journal or wherever, and think about the different tasks that you have for the week. That's another thing that Stephen Covey says. So he says that it's better to prioritize and plan for the week than it is for the day. So he's all about big picture, and he doesn't want people to get bogged down in all of the minute details because you won't make very much progress. So think about your week and the things that you need to accomplish, and then put those into the different quadrants so you can see what's important. Then you're gonna wanna stick to quadrant 2 because that is not urgent and important. So even though it's not urgent, these are the things that are actually more preventative measures so that you can shrink quadrant 1. I really hope this is making sense. And so the second part of this assignment is to, if you have an agenda, you can modify it by writing down the different roles that you play. So if you are like, I don't know, say you are a computer science engineer, and then you're also like a boxer on this side. I'm like thinking about my friend. And then also you are a son and you have some responsibilities to your family, so on and so forth. So think about the different roles and the things that you need to do that are going to help you be better in those roles in the long term, and then organize around those tasks. I think that made sense. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. But I mean, it's not complicated. It's very straightforward. It's about managing your time around your priorities. But to figure out your priorities, you have to figure out first, what are your main roles in life that you are playing? And then you just want to stick to quadrant 2. You want to prevent all these, pesky, urgent things from happening, so that you can be kind of building yourself up in such a way that you don't have all these random events happening. You want to be a lot more in control, because that's when we feel confident and when we feel happy, when we have a lot more control over our lives. Now, you can't control everything, but as much control as you can get, that will make you feel a lot better about things. Okay? All right, well, this was probably a quick video. Yeah, so go ahead and try that. I'll come back in a couple of days, maybe a week or so, and we will talk about the next habit, habit 4. All right, good luck. Talk to you later. Bye.